Verdine, Earth, Wind, and Fire was such a large band. Of course, you were the bass player, but how did you feel your role? What was your role besides just being
Well,
bass?
starting from the band from the beginning, outside of playing bass, starting from the beginning has its advantages and disadvantages. Some of the press in Europe would ask me, "What's it like?" And well, you're your brother's younger brother. I mean, is it hard? Do they, is it hard to be like that? I said, no, because when you start from the bottom, as we did, you learn every aspect of show business. You learn how to lift equipment. You learn how to book your own shows. You learn how to build sets. You learn how, it was, being an Earth, Wind, and Fire for me has been an education in the whole entertainment business because I had to start from nowhere. And so it's been great as a player, tracking in the studio. It's the full gamut, doing interviews, running around record stations, radio stations, trying to get songs played, all the whole 360 of the entertainment business, writing, producing, the whole, being in films. You get, in my experience, it's been the full gamut than just being a musician in a band.
Can you remember a time when your first note first came to you that a bass player could be like a soloist, featured as a soloist?
The first time I noticed that was I saw a bass player named Willie Weeks, who at the time was Donny Hathaway's bass player, because my brother Fred was the drummer, played on tunes like In the Ghetto. So I saw them at the old Troubadour, and I was struck at the fact that there was a bass player playing a solo like that, and he played for at least 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And he had the nerve to sound that good, and it was inspiring, but it was also, it expanded my horizons and put pressure on me to learn how to solo, to know that, you've got to expand than just being a player in the band. And then after that, I saw, a couple of years later in Chicago, Stanley Clarke, who was like a laser, man. This guy was like a laser. I mean, we had never seen a guy with that type of technique and intellectual ability. And then I saw Larry Graham. So those three guys, in terms of soloists, I really saw them, really expand that, and it was wonderful. In terms of bass guitar, I had seen many upright soloists, Cleveland Eden, Ron Carter, Richard Davis, marvelous classical player, who was a wonderful classically player. But bass guitar, I saw Willie Weeks.
So how did you go about, you said, I got to do this too? Or?
Yeah, trial and error. I used to do a solo like an E, like, I'm messing up. Putting in anything I can do and learning from keyboard players what proper notes to play, in terms of the chord structure.
Keyboard players,
yeah. Yeah, because there's notes that you can play that don't make sense, and they sound bad, or notes that can, different, ways to get into it. And then for me, being on stage and being a showman, I would combine it with pyrotechnics and visible things so people can get the sense of it.
I was gonna ask you, like, in Earth, Wind, and Fire, it was always such grand sets, and the whole thing was such a show. When it was time to feature you, how could you top that? What did you draw
I'd have to do it. I'd top it with doing levitation. I would levitate on my side, and while I was levitating, I'd still be playing. Then the lights go out. And and because of pyrotechnics and visual things, they can see the work that you do. Whereas I think just playing in a 20,000-seater hall, it disappears. Just playing notes,
Right.
It just disappears. Everybody says, "Yeah, well, like, what were you doing?" So this way, I would sort of combine that. In many ways, it helped the solo, and in some ways, It did take off. It took away from my playing in terms of people wondering if I played with a click track or was it a tape.
Yeah.
You know, today it would be a tape, you know, for most people. But in those days, you had to do everything.
Yeah.
And I had a drama scholarship, so I learned how to make flash pots, and I learned how to surround my solo with great stage technique, you know.
Drawing attention to whatever you were doing.
Yeah, because they wouldn't get it. I mean, you know, in those big halls.